Hi, I'm Cheryl Statz, and I'd like to welcome Marty Heyen, Republican and Independent candidate for House District 22. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us at least 3 of your positions that would encourage a senior or person with a disability to vote for you.
Well, first of all, I'm pro-life, and not only from the preborn, but to the very elderly. Every life is precious, whether they're fully able to do things, whether they're disabled, it doesn't matter. They're all precious, and I support their right to live. Second is kind of a personal issue, is I do have elderly and disabled people in my family, in my immediate family. Don't want to name names, I don't want to get in trouble, but I understand some of the issues more than ever in the last couple of years as I've experienced it with this family member. So I'll bring a personal understanding to the legislature. And you know, many of our seniors, they've led an active life in our community, they've contributed to our society, and we owe it to them to help them in a time when they can't take care of themselves. And oh my goodness, I'm almost out of time here. See, we know that history judges those that don't treat their elders well. And I want history to look back on us and say we did a good job.
Thank you. Oregon Project Independence is a program that's kept seniors and people with disabilities in their own home, and yet every year proposed funding for OPI is significantly cut. What will you do to ensure and protect funding for this cost-effective program?
I will vote against any cuts, and I will vote for any increase in funding that we can get through the legislature. I have, again, personal experience. I had grandmothers in 2 different states that were allowed to stay in their homes. They had somebody come in. There was no family member close by to help take care of them. And my one grandmother was able to live in her home until a week and a half before she died. And that meant a lot to her. She was surrounded by things that make her comfortable. And so she had a happy retirement. My dad wasn't so lucky and ended up in assisted living for the last 6 months of his life. He didn't want to be there. He tried to escape several times, and I don't want that for anybody.
Right, I understand. So what will you do on a state level so that seniors and people with disabilities no longer face a lack of accessible and affordable housing?
Well, unfortunately, this is a crisis affecting all age groups. I know some young couples that are trying to find a home. They were going out for a $160,000 home, and they couldn't even find anything. People are bidding over, you know, outbidding what the sellers were asking for. So it's a definite problem that we have, and it's because we don't have enough housing. And when you don't have enough housing, then everything continues to rise. Like my family member, her rent rises every year by about $70 a month, which, you know, Social Security doesn't keep up with that at all. So I would want to revisit land use laws and regulations and see what we can do to trim things back so that we can encourage more homes to be built, because that's the solution. We need more housing.
Okay, thank you. How would you prioritize state funding, including funding that is matched with federal funds, for services to an increasing senior and people with disabilities population?
Well, we have a moral responsibility to take care of our seniors and the disabled. So this would be a high priority, right up there with foster care, actually. You know, we have also we have a moral responsibility to take care of our children, you know, that aren't in their homes. I think both of these things are just as important. Any chance at matching funds with the federal government would be good, as long as we can keep control. We really don't want to give our control to the federal government, because we understand our local community better than they do. And I'm wondering about a public-private partnership, maybe like we did it with a school district in Mountain West, where we have CTEC, which is a career and technical school, And it really didn't cost the school district very much because we had somebody, you know, that wanted to help the community contribute that. So maybe there's something that can be done in that way. We also have record low unemployment. So I'm thinking we have more tax dollars, right? So we have to be smart about how we're using our tax dollars because we have the money.
Okay, thank you. How will your experience shape the work you will do on behalf of seniors and people with disabilities?
Well, I'll work for them like they're my own family because they are, actually, even here in Salem. I'm 61 myself, you know, I could collect Social Security next year if I wanted to. So I'm going to treat them like they're my own family. I've talked to people out there, and I've met some more people and heard some of the struggles they're having, and there's lots of different issues. And I'm really glad to learn about this organization. I didn't know about it and how you're trying to help seniors. I think that's wonderful, and so I want to encourage you guys and help you guys to help our seniors. And the other big thing is for our veterans, our disabled and senior veterans. They need to be helped as well, and I'm sure you work with many of those as well.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Marty. This is Marty Heyen, Republican candidate for House and District 22.